I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of January 18th, 2017. We are workers at Alter Ego Comics, an award-winning comic shop in Lima, Ohio. And if you're just joining us every week, we come to you on the morning of New Comic Book Day. Before we open it, we talk about things that we like the best, in the hopes that you would pick them up as well. It's with the hopes, isn't it? Not in the hopes.
Sure.
Okay. So here we go. Are you ready? Let's begin. My pick of the week is it's a combo deal. Kill or Be Killed Volume 1 is out this week by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, as well as Kill or Be Killed number 5 by the same creative team. The trade collects issues 1 through 4, and then you can jump in with number 5. If you haven't been watching the show for a while, I think we've talked about every issue of Kill or Be Killed. It is one of the best comics being published today. It is dark and noir and supernatural and murdery, so if that's not your jam, then don't pick it up. But it's a great story about this guy in his 20s who wants to off himself, and he's caught mid-off by what we later find out to be a demon who makes a deal with him.
Well, he thinks it's a demon.
He thinks
we don't really know. We don't have any external. It's all from his point of view, so we don't know what's really true. But it certainly looks like a demon.
It looked like a demon.
And he thinks it's a demon.
Who offers him a deal? I don't know why did he save his life? Because he was gonna.
Because then he had the leverage over him.
I don't know what I'm doing here. No. Yes. So the demon makes him a deal that he needs to kill someone. Is it once a month? Once a week? Once a day?
I think it's once a month. This was the established.
Yes. So our hero seeks out bad people to kill, and it's kind of like I want to say Wanted to some degree. You have somebody who's starting with no skills whatsoever, and then he's not being trained by anybody, but he's teaching himself how to do what needs to be done. But he's also got a romantic relationship that's up and down. He's got school. He's got other stuff. He's working on his graduate degree. It's just a very interesting story. Please add something, because I can't talk.
It's really good. It's got like everything Brubaker and Phillips do together, it has a strong noir feel. There's narration. It jumps around chronologically a lot, because as he narrates it, he remembers different parts. It's kind of like The Princess Bride. We'll skip to the good parts, and so you don't necessarily see all the connective tissue, but it allows you to just see the important moments, which is cool.
It's just so good.
And in single issues, the backups are always amazing. This week, I maybe want to go find that video. It's going for $100 on DVD.
Really?
Yeah, it's apparently not in print anymore.
Elliot Gould.
Yeah.
Donald Sutherland. Did they make every movie together
in
the 70s?
Yeah.
Man. So Kill or Be Killed should be on your must-read list, unless you don't like murder and demons and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and Brubaker said in the introduction to the back matter that this is their best received one, which kind of blew my mind. I guess I just think of them as being a bit like the Fade Out was huge, but that was in my head, not maybe necessarily in the sales world.
I think it's where we are in the industry that I don't know. But yeah, the trade had the highest advance orders they've ever seen on a Brubaker Phillips jam. Same with the single issue comics, so good for them.
Cool.
You're up.
Yeah. My pick of the week this week is Curse Words, written by friend of the store Charles Soule, with art by Ryan Brown. And this is the story of a dark wizard who comes to our world to destroy it, like you do, and decides that, hey, it might be more fun to use his magical power and just be a badass wizard for hire in the present day. It is obviously kind of tongue-in-cheek and hilarious, but there's also a through line of actual plot and drama running through it. What do they call it? A gonzo fantasy or something like that? I was disappointed because Gonzo from the Muppets was not in it.
That's the only reason you read it.
Yeah. But no, Charles Soule is great. His Letter 44 and his run on Daredevil are both top-notch, and I think this is too. For an idea of sort of the ridiculousness, he has a familiar, like many wizards do, who, in the present-day part, because we see that when he first came to the world and then the current story where it's a little later, he's more acclimated to our culture. In that version, his familiar is a koala.
Named Margaret.
And it's just...
Margaret has her own hashtag
fun.
on Twitter.
So he's kind of being this force for good wizard for hire. Like Harry Dresden and anyone else with self-respect, he has a set of rules. He doesn't do love spells, he doesn't do wars, and he doesn't do curses, I think was the third one.
I think so, yes. He does curse, though.
Yeah, he does curse a little bit. It's an Image book, but it's just really refreshing and fun. And good.
Yes. He turns a pop star into platinum.
He wants to be platinum, so he makes him actual
so
platinum.
Nothing can touch him. And then he realizes that he's like a giant foot.
And he can't, like,
he can't
it's
feel.
asleep. Well, it's asleep. When your foot's asleep, it all tingles. You can't feel anything. And he was not the top Dark Wizard in his old dimension, so his previous Overlord is now sending people through to find out what went up and, if necessary, take him out. And
Well, he was kind of a scout, wasn't he?
I don't know, because they refer to him as the Devil's Devil, which sort of implies to me that he's, like, badass. Like, he's not...
Yeah, he's...
I mean, he can't be a scout. His spell was supposed to end the world. What, you scout it, then destroy it.
It's a good read.
It is lots of fun.
We have a triple play of Spider-Man related books right now. Clone Conspiracy #4 is out this week by Dan Slott and Jimmy Chung. And this series just continues to be great. The miniseries bringing friends and enemies of Spider-Man back from the dead. His clone, Ben Reilly, is behind this. Spoiler alert, you should know this by now. It's been out for quite a while. The stuff I like the best in here is there's some great exchanges between Anna Maria and Otto Octavius, which picks up from Slott's Superior Spider-Man run. We also get some... There's like this whole town made... It's like Pleasant Hill. Made up of all of Spidey's friends and enemies who've been reanimated. And it's so good. Chung's artwork is amazing.
I thought that too as I read it. The art is really solid.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Good stuff. And we get to see, if you've been reading the series, you see that the Carrion Plague has been unleashed on lots of different worlds by Peter and Ben teaming up, and maybe that happens in this issue. I don't know.
And he's doing these in the correct order.
Yes.
So if you're reading all of them, you want to read Clone Conspiracy first, and then Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing 23 is out this week. There is a big warning on the first page that says read Clone Conspiracy 4 first. This is awesome. It's Dan Slott, Christos Gage, and Giuseppe Camuncoli, who is doing awesome work on Green Valley. And it's Peter and Gwen, Clone Gwen, reanimated Gwen.
From The Walking Dead.
Yes.
The Jackal also brought him back.
Having a heart-to-heart, and the art style is great.
It's a throwback to that classic line.
The 60s kind of art without looking exactly like it. It's just bright and colorful, and just... If you're a Spider-Man fan, there is absolutely no reason you shouldn't be reading these two books. Yeah. It's so good. And it's going to be so sad for Peter. I can feel it. Spider-Gwen #16 is out this week. This is part 2 of the Sitting in a Tree story featuring Miles Morales from over in Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen. So Miles has been sent by Maria Hill and S.H.I.E.L.D. to seek out his father, who may or may not be in this parallel universe. And it's great. It's a great continuation of the story, and apparently this is a multi-part, because part 3 is back in Spider-Man in the next issue. So if you are enjoying Spider-Man, man, it's going to be a long day. You want to pick up Spider-Gwen #16 to find out what happens to Miles and Gwen.
My next pick this week is Invincible Iron Man #3. Written by Brian Michael Bendis, art by Stefano Caselli. This is issue 3, and we finally get to see Riri Williams in the armor that's been on the cover since the first issue, and using the name that's been on the cover since the first issue, Ironheart. I just can't... There aren't words for how much I love this book.
It's really how much he loves Brian Michael Bendis.
It's true, and I don't know...
You should be careful, Mr.
No, a lot of it is also Tony Stark. This is an evolution, not just of Bendis' Stark run, but in some ways of stuff going all the way back to the Fraction run, and even before that. Yeah, I don't care, I'm going to tell you. Pepper Potts shows up in this.
Finally.
As Rescue, and also as Pepper Potts, obviously, and talks to Riri, and that exchange... Of course, she and Tony have a long and storied history, and now Riri has an AI that is essentially Tony Stark's brain and personality, which is just an amazing interaction, and just so good. It's funny, and it's dramatic, and it moves the plot forward, and it is just... There's certain people who write great stories, and there are people that write great universe stories. Bendis' stories like this, like Miles, fit in the framework of the universe. Miles Morales on its own, reading nothing else, is a really good book. But when you read it as part of the tradition, you see it as part of the tapestry of the Marvel Universe, it's amazing. And I would say the same thing about Invincible Iron Man.
We will be shooting Josh's monologue about Brian Michael Bendis and his universes.
And then we'll be live tweeting from the restraining order hearing.
Yes. He's absolutely right. My final pick this week is Batman number 15 by Tom King and Mitch Gerads. And this is part 2 of the Rooftops interlude between Catwoman and Batman. And taken as a 2-part story, this is really, really strong. Mm-hmm. The thing I like the best about this is that it calls back to Batman Year One. It also calls back to the Catwoman miniseries that Frank Miller did. I think it was Frank Miller. It might have been Ann Nesenti. Sorry. There was a Catwoman miniseries that was kind of like a mature readers that came out around the time as Batman Year One, so 86 or so. But also kind of the Silver Age Catwoman or the Golden Age Catwoman first appearance too. So they're remembering when they met each other for the first time. And it's confusing yet fun.
It's like when Harry met Sally, but with Batman and Catwoman.
I can't really put it into words, as I can not with most things today, but
it's kind of like, and this is not necessarily a perfect analogy, but the way Loeb handled the Superman-Batman dialogue in Superman-Batman, the inner monologue, the way you cut back and you're seeing different perspectives, and the two perspectives together give you a third point of view that's kind of between the two, and it enhances the relationship.
I wish I knew more about the first appearance of Catwoman in the Golden or the Silver Age.
I know nothing.
I'm guessing this is Silver Age because Batman has kind of that Silver Age look. But, Batman is saying, you were they're talking about the first time they met. You were in disguise, dressed as an older woman, white hair, pink, black dress. And then Catwoman goes, no, you were in disguise. Jeans, a jacket, scar on your face. And it's right out of Year One or that Catwoman miniseries where Bruce has the fisherman's hat on and he's in his disguise. He's out patrolling. So good. This was really good. And you find you get the answer to, did Catwoman in fact murder those 237 people that she's being hunted for? So, way to go, Tom King.
Yeah, good job. Last up for me this week is Doctor Aphra, written by Kieran Gillen with art by Kev Walker. This continues the story of Aphra teaming up with her estranged father for an archaeology adventure on the planet of Yavin 4. I'm sorry, on the forest moon of Yavin. Yavin 4. Yavin's the planet. Yavin 4 is a planet, yes. The one that was the rebel base in A New Hope. With the Messiah temples and stuff. And it is great. Again, it is funny, and there are some shout-outs to recent movies. And, of course, the murderer robots are always hilarious and fun. And, yeah, it's really interesting. I feel a lot of echoes of Last Crusade, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. They're both archaeologists. They don't really have a good relationship. They talk about her upbringing and the distance between them. And it's basically Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in the Star Wars universe, which is something I will always show up for.
All right, the additional things that you should be aware of and that we enjoyed. Monsters Unleashed, number 1, is out this week from Marvel. God almighty. Cullen Bunn, Steve McNiven, and this is basically the Marvel Universe fighting giant monsters. So if that is your jam, and it should be, this is very much a summer blockbuster popcorn movie sort of thing. I don't think it's going to be really heavy. I don't think there are going to be any long-standing ramifications, but it's a fun read, and it's fun to see the Marvel characters go up against these kaiju, for lack of a better term.
U.S. Avengers 2 is out by, not Butch Ewing.
Al Ewing.
Al Ewing. And we get to see...
You always want to say Butch Ewing.
I do. I don't know why. I want to say Butch Cassidy. No.
You want to say J.R. Ewing. I'm old.
Yeah. It's great.
Trinity continues, number 5 out this week, written and drawn by Francis Manapul, and man, he's doing a great job with this series. Looks great, reads great, featuring the three tentpoles of the DC universe. Good stuff.
Poison Ivy, Mongol,
and Lois Lane.
Yes. Continuing the Justice League Rebirth wave of one-shots, we have The Ray number 1, written by Tony Orlando and drawn by written by Steve Orlando with art by Stephen Byrne.
Old. You're not even that old, but you talk like an old person.
And this is the Ray. This is the first time we've seen him in a while. I think he had a mini-series in the New 52, but I think this is kind of a restructure of the origin. And it's definitely interesting. I don't know a lot about the Ray, but I enjoyed it.
The first volume of the DC Rebirth Flash series is out this week by Joshua Williamson and Carmine Jan. I shouldn't pronounce his name today. That guy, yeah. 9 issues of the Flash. The Rebirth one-shot plus 1 through 8. This is a no-brainer. The Flash, if I had to pick my top 3 Rebirth series, and these are not in any particular order, Detective Comics, Flash, and Superman would be my 3.
Those would be my 3
So
too.
Flash is absolutely worth picking up. And you don't have to necessarily know anything about what's going on in the past. If you're a fan of the TV show, you can pick it up and dive into it. Awesome stuff.
All right. Next up, Sam Wilson, Captain America, number 18. Nick Spencer with Javier Acuna? Daniel Acuna. I don't know anyone's first name.
Hakuna Matata.
Yes.
What a wonderful... Sorry.
No, it's awesome. I continue to be astounded by Nick Spencer's ability to tell one Captain America story across 2 books and have it mean different things in different titles. And it's great.
Couple trades out, the newest volumes of series that sell well for us and that we highly recommend. Sunstone Volume 5 is out this week by Stepan Sejic. If you're into... I can't even... talking about this book doesn't do it justice. Like, no. I could give you the premise and 75% of you won't want to read it. But you should totally check it out. It's super good. And it looks like that might be the last volume.
Yeah, and it's super hefty. Like, $14.99, that thing looks twice the size of the last
The
volume.
other ones were like, prestige format books, but this is a giant
huge
trade. Also, we have Star Wars Volume 4 by Jason Aaron and Alfred Molina. No, not Alfred Molina. Some other people. There were different artists and stuff. So if you've been reading the Star Wars series in trade, come get the new volume.
Yes, if you want to see a small band of people take over a Star Destroyer, it's awesome. And last up for me, Star-Lord 2, part of the Grounded, Peter Quill on Earth, going on trial and doing community service and fun, written by Chip Zdarsky of Wackiness and Sex Criminals.
Of Wacky Sex Criminals.
Yes.
That is it for this week. Man, I need to either go back to bed or drink some more coffee or something. I don't know what's going on. But as always, it's a great week to visit your local comic shop. Hopefully that's us. Local comic shops are in need of your support now more than ever, so go out and pick up something, a single issue, a trade. Ask the staff for help. If they don't help you, come to us. We will help you. And make sure to join our private Facebook group, Comics Are Awesome, so we can continue the conversation about comics that are awesome. There'll be a link in the show notes below. And like the video. Likes help us get more attention, so if you liked it, hopefully someone else will see all the likes and they will like it as well and watch it. And make sure to hit subscribe so you're kept up to date on every time we upload a video. And I may not talk for the rest of the day, so give us the sign-off, Josh.
We have a sign-off?
Whatever you want to say.
Okay. Wear a condom.
Oh, God. We'll see you next time.